Welcome back. And with me, I have Tariq. Tariq, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good, Dr. Wulf. How are you?
I'm wonderful. So welcome, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know that you're summer intern, you're a college student, and you're like probably the most gifted engineering type person that I know, truly in school, out of school, and all this stuff, because the knowledge that you've imparted on me, I still am trying to catch up to.
Thank you.
So I'm not going to test you today. So this will not be a test.
Okay.
But we are going to talk about your schooling. We're going to talk a little bit about your lifestyle, what you do in and out of school, and then, you know, a little bit about the job and your career and what you want to do, your aspirations, as you said it. I like that word. So you tell the audience a little bit about who you are and what you do in school. What are you going to school for?
Okay, well, I'm Tariq Abdul-Quddoos. I currently go to St. Cloud State. I'm about to be going to my 4th year electrical engineering major. And, you know, born and raised in the Twin Cities, you know, Minneapolis is home. But, you know, as far as school goes, you know, engineering is something that I found it gave me that childhood feeling in terms of like the fun within it. And so that's why I specifically chose that field. And I also want to go into education, and so I can do both of those at the same time. That's my career aspiration. I know you're going to ask about that later, so just to throw that out there, you know, I want to put those two together and actually become a professor of engineering someday. But that's way down the line.
And that's a beautiful goal. That truly is, because we need more African American men and men of color in the classrooms. Not to disparage the women or the females, but there is a overwhelmingly huge cavern and a gap of male teachers, and specifically teachers of color. So that is great, and you know, I know you're not interviewing me, but I applaud you for that beyond everything. And so hopefully some of the students that are out there will also pursue education with their technology or with their artistic or whatever pursuit that they may have. So you go into school, you have these big dreams, very attainable dreams. You're very smart. You have electrical engineering degree pursuit. So what do you do outside of school? What are you doing in the community? What types of things do you like to do?
Well, as far as the campus life goes, I'm part of our Black Student Union at St. Cloud, which is called CAST, or the Council of African American Students. I recently became the president of that, and then I'm also a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, Go Mob. And then on top of that, I'm part of a community organization called the African American Male Forum in St. Cloud. And so I enjoy taking part in these various social activities. You know, with the engineering, it's so technical that you have so much interaction with computers, you don't really get to focus on the social aspect of things. And so I am involved in so many of these things because of that.
And that's wonderful, because, you know, there is a stigmatism to engineers and computer science people, is that they aren't very social. But obviously, knowing you, I know that, you know, and you're in college, so I won't disparage any college students. I know how fun it can be. But you take what you do pretty seriously, and you network, and you're working with other students, you're building coalitions. And that's the best part, because when you get into the professional work world, you're going to have to do those types of things. And some of the most valuable aspects of what you're doing now are going to lead to great opportunities later, because they're going to want somebody that can work in teams. They're going to want somebody that's smart, that can think on their feet, and very friendly, obviously. Very likable also makes a very, very attractive candidate. So shameless plug, anybody looking to hire any future electrical engineers, we have one right here ready to go. So as you've dealt with the Black student unions and the other organizations, you also have networked with different companies, and you indicated that you have an internship. So can you share a little bit about maybe how you got that internship and what you do in that internship?
Okay, so one of my professors sent out emails to the class saying that a previous St. Cloud State student was looking for an intern. He works for a company that makes medical devices, specifically working with embedded systems. And embedded systems is the route that I've recently chosen to go with as far as electrical engineering goes. And I applied for that, and they called me up, and I went down to the interview, and you know, a few weeks later, they said, you got it. So I had a grin on my face for about a week after that.
You're still grinning, so that's good. That's a good thing. And to pursue your passion and actually have someone offer you a job in something that you know and you're good at makes it also so much more rewarding, right? So we've talked a little bit about your career and your education. So We did dabble in on lifestyle, but outside of school and outside of the networking with the Black student unions and other Phi Beta Sigma and the other organizations, what do you like to do in terms of lifestyle and for fun? I mean, you know, what is it that makes you tick?
All right. So, well, when it's warm in Minnesota, it's a rare occurrence, but I try to go running. So I say I hibernate for about 9 months out of the year, and for the 3 that's warm, I try to go for runs. I typically do what other college students do, hang out, you know, a lot of 2K. For those who don't know what 2K is, you know, basketball on Xbox. Yeah.
I didn't know it. Obviously, go ahead.
Recently got into playing a little FIFA, so typically what other college students like to do. I like to read here and there. That pretty much sums up. Oh, playing basketball in general, just going to the court, and I used to play basketball back in high school, so when I get that rare chance at college, I like to go and spend a few hours at the court.
Yeah, well, you've got a complete balance, right? You have the knowledge, you have the physicality, and you have the compassion and the outreach for community. And we're also looking forward to you giving back. I understand too that after school ends, or maybe this fall, you're going to partner up with Minnesota STEM Partnership and maybe help them shape and deliver this data architecture initiative. And I know there's a meeting coming up in a few weeks, but we'll talk about that maybe at the next show, or maybe when that launches in the fall. So now that we've covered pretty much the full spectrum for the high school student that's maybe in 10th or 11th grade, and they've heard everything that you've had to say.
Right.
What kind of advice would you give them to say, hey, I want to pursue this. I want to go to Minnesota State School. I want to go to St. Cloud in particular. What advice would you give them in terms of getting to where you're at?
Just have fun with it. I mean, you can't really try to pursue something unless it's something that you're truly interested in and something that you actually feel like you're gonna enjoy in life. Especially within like the field of engineering. It's a lot of people when they're first introduced to it, they feel like it's just so intense on math and so intense on the physics. And then you kind of just lose the fun out of that. So especially at such a young age, try to find where you're having fun at. My first introduction to engineering was my senior year of high school, and it was programming these boards called Arduinos, and I had so much fun with that, it just carried me on into my college years.
Wow. We're gonna have you bring those Arduinos back into the classroom again for us. So, Tariq, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it. It's wonderful having a young person on the show, and we look forward to seeing you again on the next episode of Altitude.
Thank you.
Take care.